Hey! Happy Friday! Hey, Rena. See your heart? I tell you I was gonna leave it. Hey, so today I'm talking about 3 hurdles you face when ending a relationship. So, Markera the Strong here, back on the live to talk about ending a relationship. All of March, my posts discussed discovering red flags. I gave examples of clients that had experiences and where those experiences took them and how they felt. I showed the importance of connecting the dots between conditioning in our younger days and the way we handle ourselves in relationships. This can uncover why we allow red flags to happen. Self-love is also a running theme with me and is a main focus throughout my coaching. Over the month of April, my posts have now shifted to discuss shifting out of those toxic relationships and reclaiming self-empowerment. I'm digging into the effects of these relationships and how my clients now no longer tolerate anything that violates that promise to themselves, as well as how they now analyze situations to make sure they are not veering too far into the extreme opposite of what they used to do. So striking a balance is the goal here. So tonight I want to discuss 3 hurdles in ending a relationship. The first major hurdle would be deciding to leave, but I want to expand on 3 other major hurdles once you've jumped that one. So we have fear of loneliness and the unknown. I combine these 2 because often they end up hand in hand. Loneliness can be a reason we hold on to someone longer than we should, and it can be an overwhelming feeling, and if we do not flip the way that we perceive the word loneliness, it would forever have that hold on us. Along with that comes the fear of not knowing who is going to come along to love us. The thought of dating and reading through what's out there is like, what? It becomes, let me just stay where I know this devil instead of running into another one. Let's flip that perception again. The chances of running into another devil are about as equal as running into an angel. Now, don't be like, Kira, have you seen the relationships I have been through? My response will be yes. Have you seen the ones I emerged from? We tolerated these crappy situations because the frame of mind we were in. Self-love, self-respect, and self-esteem were at an all-time low. So we not only attracted less than stellar people, we sat around and tolerated them, sometimes for years. You hear me? You have now been through the red flag journal and love redefined, or are going through them now, or about to. You're starting to see yourself again as the awesome person you are. And you have the power to end the dysfunction that you've been entertaining for far too long. Armed with that flippant perception, the fear of loneliness and the fear of the unknown become moot points. Why? Because now you realize your own company is awesome and you can work on healing while you prepare to get back in that singles game. Listen to me. And while you are healing, you further realize that you would be gracing someone with your presence. I'm not saying that you will no longer attract what you do not want. What I'm saying is you will sift through the mess faster and be able to identify someone who is also doing the work. This hurdle can be cleared, it's just up to you. There are ways to tackle it in the early days: hanging with friends, diving back into hobbies, discovering new hobbies, journaling, creating vision boards to stay focused. These are just a few of the things that you can do. The second hurdle is that hope that things will get better. You know you need to leave. It is just that now you find yourself in a cycle of hope and despair. There are days when things seem so good that your hope soars. And however, there are days when they are bad, and they are really, really bad, is when you feel that despair. You notice that the bad days are now outnumbering the good ones. You've spent the last few weeks, months, and years, however, trying to rekindle things. Hi, Tanya. You remind them of when you first met, of happier times, and it falls on deaf ears. They seem closed off and not interested in making it better. Or they improve as long as it takes to shut you up, and then it's back to dysfunction as usual. You suggest counseling, you talk calmly about the way things are going and how they're affecting you, and it just falls flat to the ground. Relationships take work. Sustainability in a relationship is no joke. And if you are backbending, dollar whining, running man dancing, and doing the Roger Rabbit while spinning plates on a stick while they just sit there with a blank stare, tell me, how is that going for you? As you burn yourself out, what are they doing? How are you replenishing your energy? How are you refilling when empty? An imbalance never bodes well, and before long, resentment starts to build, which can also impact the way you heal after the relationship finally ends. Come jump this hurdle and get yourself sorted out, please. Third hurdle, the last one I'm going to discuss, is support. This is a really heavy one because there are three essential aspects: emotional, that I touched on in the first hurdle, financial support, and maintaining your focus. Emotionally, you have to be prepared to deal with your decision. Despite it being you who made the decision, once you end things, there is a gamut of emotions that course through you. You will cycle through anything from anger to happiness to regret to some days of just not knowing how to feel. That is completely normal because of all that you invested in making things work. You have to detangle so many things words can never describe, and it can be overwhelming. This is where family, friends, and your whole tribe is essential. You will need shoulders to cry on, ears to cuss in, and brunches to reminisce at. Financially, if you are in a shared financial setup, you need to know how you will become a lone financier. If there are kids involved, child support has to be addressed. If you were the home manager while your partner was the income provider, then you need to figure out how you will provide for yourself. I will only touch briefly on this topic because it can be so broad. There are so many mix of situations. I can give you two quick personal examples from my experience. When I left my marriage, I was netting $50 a week. My paycheck was assigned to the bank for the mortgage payments, and my husband at the time was taking care of the home, grocery, utilities, and all that stuff. I had just put our daughter in a private school with intentions to move our son there. How $50 was going to pay all these things and put gas in my car to go to work? Well, my boss stepped in and supported us with grocery and more, and my lifelong ride-or-die friends made sure the kids were always good with what they needed. In contrast to that, when I ended a messed up situationship I landed in after my marriage, I was working for myself. I had vowed never to be caught unable to take care of myself again, so I had built a business from the ground up. I was able to take care of myself and my kids without blinking. It wasn't an overnight process, but I got there so that when I ended that relationship, I didn't have to worry who was going to take care of me or pay the bills or make ends meet. My support tribe at that time then became more emotional and focus-based. The last area of support that you need to have in place is focus. This is important Because just as you worry about who you're going to find to love you if you let this go, it is imperative that you figure out who you are and where you want to be 6 months, a year, 5 years down the road after this breakup. The focus on what you went through and left behind needs to ebb away and drive the outline and goals of the future you now live. The temptation to dolly back into their presence can be strong, and the hard road ahead, whether it be financial, emotional, or whatever, can convince you that you need to just get back together to ease all the pain. But easing all the pain leads to hindering your healing, hindering any progress that you could be making, and the continued erosion of your self-love, self-esteem, and self-confidence. Essentially, easing all the pain is going to lead to more pain. So in closing, I just want to add, sometimes we need to just separate feelings from fact. Take a bird's eye view of things and ask yourself if you would want someone close to you to exist in the same situation. Go over it all and know that sometimes what you mistake for love can be your partner just wanting to hold on to controlling you. Because sometimes who would not want someone doing all the work while you sit back and just glean everything from what they're doing? They're just harvesting everything you're putting in and not putting in that work. And as long as you stay there, that will continue. Is that something you want to watch a friend go through? So if you don't want a friend to go through it or a relative to go through it, why are you going through it? Why are you putting up with it? So, like I said, with the right supports in place, you'll be good to go. So I'll see you next time when I discuss the 3 regrets in not leaving.